Welcome back to Conway Corp Channel 5. I am Mason Choate, publisher of hogbeat.com, and we are continuing our series of Where Are They Now? Following some former Wampus Cats and seeing where they're at, what they're doing. I'm the class of 2019, and we're going back to the class of 2013 with running back Jeff Anderson. Jeff, now I got to say, since your time playing football, you're doing seems like some bigger, better things nowadays. Can you catch the people up on what's going on in your life?
Yes. So I guess since my Conway days, I went on to University of Central Arkansas, got a dual degree biology and business major there, and then after that, I went on to medical school, and now I'm a general surgery resident now.
Wow. So was that like when you think back to your time playing running back at Conway, you're thinking about your football future. Was that part of your just general future? Is this something that you had in mind back when you were in high school?
Absolutely. I always knew that, NFL was a long shot. And so academics was something that I really pursued a lot. And going into my 11th grade year, I decided that I wanted to be a doctor. And so I kind of just used football in order to have an avenue to go to college and did that and went on to med school. So it's been on my mind for a while.
And I believe I saw you even got to like deliver your own daughter. What other opportunities like that is that presented? That seems really cool getting to do that.
Yeah, for sure. So I've got three kids now. I got a wife. I married my high school sweetheart, and we've got three children together. She's also in med school too. But my daughter, I was in my second year of med school, and the OB asked or found out that I was in med school, and they asked if I had delivered any babies. And at that time, I had not yet. I hadn't been on my clinical rotations, and they were like, "Well, do you want to deliver your first one?" And so I had that opportunity, and I always get to make the joke with my wife. I was the first one to hold our daughter and all that, so it's pretty
That's good.
cool.
That's good. So again, let's talk about your time playing for the Wampus Cats. So your senior year, I'm looking at it here, 220 carries, 1,705 yards, 17 touchdowns. And I believe, back there in 2012, you guys were the first team since 2009 to win a playoff game for Conway.
Yeah.
Take what do you remember from that senior season? Because obviously your numbers were incredible.
Yeah, I mean it was a wild ride. I was just blessed with the opportunity to play with a great bunch of guys. I didn't really get to play much my sophomore, junior year. I moved in from Memphis. But I kind of made a promise to my coaches that I was going to give everything I got going into my senior year. And it just ended up being a great year. We won a bunch of games. I think we only lost two during the regular season. Went to the playoffs, won. I think we beat Springdale Harbor or something in the first round, or maybe even Rogers. I
It
can't
was
remember.
Rogers.
It was Rogers. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was Rogers. And so then we went on to the second round and unfortunately lost to Fayetteville. They've been a thorn in our side for a long time. But it was a very fun ride. Made a lot of friends, a lot of good memories. Just happy to be a Wampus Cat, it's still bleed blue.
So we talked about this a little bit before we started recording. You wore number 22.
Hmm.
Everybody knows Payton Hillis wore number 22. You were telling me you trained with him. Like how did that come about? What was that like? And obviously he inspired you and you wore 22 and just that relationship with Payton. What was that like?
Oh man, it was great. You grow up around and all that coming into Conway. You hear the story of Peyton Hillis, and everyone chases to be like him. Coming into my senior year, he showed up to the campus facility, and he asked, who was the running back and all that. And I hadn't solidified a starting spot at that point, actually. But I went up to him and I told him that I was the running back, and he gave me a pair of gloves and he gave me a pair of cleats and asked if I wanted to train. And I did. And so I trained that summer with him. We met a couple of times. He gave me a couple of pointers, and I kind of give a lot of credit to him to why I had so much success my senior year. I mean, he really showed me a lot, and really taught me the game. And I was able to use that my senior year and had a really good year that year.
Yeah. So I was looking at an old list of the All Metro team from back when you were playing, and the other the first team offense, the other running back listed is Alti Tenpenny, who went on to play at Alabama. So I
Yes.
mean, you were up there with
Yes.
with the big boys. Do you remember? I mean, did you have a relationship with him? He's obviously passed away. Rest in peace to Alti. But did you have a relationship with him, or were
Uh,
you just like battling it out with him?
No, man, me and LT were real good friends. We went to a couple camps together. We went to the Nike football training camp together up in Memphis. He got to go on to the what's called the opening, which was the final round and all of that. But I joked with him and kid with him all throughout his freshman year at Alabama that statistically I was the number one running back in Arkansas that year. I think he had like 1,200 yards rushing our senior year, and so he would always, well, I'm the one at Alabama, and so it was always a lot of competitive banter with me and LT, and it was real sad when he passed away, and so still think about him to this day. But he pushed me as well, and we had a really good relationship. So
Yeah. So that transition from Memphis to Conway, I believe you said it was your sophomore year.
yes.
What how tough was that? Because I mean Memphis and Conway are two completely different places.
Yeah, for sure. So I came in. Honestly, I give all the credit to where I'm at, to the old athletic director, old high school coach, Coach Ashcraft. Because when I came in from Memphis to Conway, I was a knucklehead. And that coaching staff, Coach Randy, Coach Schwartz, Coach Hughes, the current athletic director, they all literally put special interest in me and knew that I needed a little tighter of a rope to reel me in to get to where I needed to go. And so it was a pretty tough transition. I wasn't really one to go to class and all of that, but they got me straight, and it was tough, but I made it, and I'm here today, so because of them, and so I give them a lot of praise for that.
So then you go on and you play for UCA.
Mhm.
Take us through your college career for those of us who maybe didn't, watch it and appreciate it in real time.
Yeah. So I go through my senior year. I didn't have any offers. My At the end of my senior year, I ended up with like five or six. Decided to stay home, kind of hometown hero type of deal. And then went on to college, played for UCA, had a great time at UCA. Was more of a reserve role during my time there, but had a lot of fun. Had scored a couple touchdowns. I think my longest run was like a 60-yard touchdown against Stephen F. Austin my sophomore year. But really more of a support player once I got there. But had a great time at UCA too. I love Conway. I love the city of Conway, and so I wouldn't trade it for the world.
So we obviously know that you're watching the Wabash Cats on Friday nights. What do you think of this year's team? They're just dominating everybody. Maybe a little bit worried they haven't been challenged yet.
Yep. Honestly, I was telling my brother is Jackson Anderson. He graduated last year. He was the receiver.
Okay.
He's at UAPB now. I was telling him, I have never seen a Wampus Cat team this loaded and the firepower that we have on offense, how fast we're scoring, how good we are on defense. I've never seen it. I've watched almost every game since 2010, and this is one of the most impressive teams that we've had. And so, you know, I'm excited to see what we've got coming up. But I've got high hopes for this team. I've got high hopes for the coaching staff. I think Coach James has a excellent staff. I think they're all working together to a common goal. And I think Conway is headed for great things, not just this year, but for many years to come, and I'm just so excited to be a part of the history of it.
Yeah. So I think about like when I was in school, the team that was always frustrating. Like Bryant was Bryant because Buck James was there. He's at Conway now, thank goodness. But Bryant was Bryant. But North Little Rock was a team that we could just never overcome. When
Mhm.
when you were playing, what was that team? Was it maybe it was Bryant or North Little Rock? But for me, it was North Little Rock, and then they crushed them this year. It felt incredible to just watch that. Who was it for when you were there?
So when I was there, it was Brian and North Little Rock, but we actually beat both of them my senior year, and so I get to say that not a lot of friends around my age get to say that they beat both Brian and North Little Rock. Fayetteville in the playoffs, we lost to them a couple of times. Was our kind of ultimate thorn in the side. We lost to them a couple of times while I was there, but Bryant North Little Rock has been that for a long time.
Yeah. Bryant's the worst. That's
Yes.
I don't know if when I was in high school if Conway beat Bryant at all because that was
Yeah.
when they were on that run where they didn't lose a game for like 4 years or something like that.
So when I was there, they had like they used to say that they would have like some magic dust or something, I don't know, from their old field. And they would sprinkle it around their field before the game. It was from like the old field from like the 60s or something like that. And so like you couldn't win on their field. And my senior year, we went in and we were the first team that beat them on their home field in a long time. And so it's one of the memories I have from that.
Was with that game, did you guys go into that knowing like they're gonna sprinkle this stuff around and we're gonna ruin their party, or did you learn that afterwards?
No, we knew it before we knew it going in. Coaches had us ready for it. Coach Ashcraft, he was one of the, best motivators that there is. They've got some magic dirt, and all that. Well, we got some football players and all of that different type of stuff. And so we went in, and honestly, I think we only played 3 quarters. We were up pretty big, and there was a thunderstorm, and they didn't want to come back out and play the fourth quarter because we were up however many points we were up. And so that was my first game as a starter. I was, pretty hyped up about that. And so, it's one of the memories that I still have today.
Wow. First game as a starter, was that at the beginning of the season? Or was
Yes,
that
that was the beginning of the season. So that was first game of the year. They weren't in our conference that year. They were doing some weird stuff. So they weren't in our conference, but we played them first game of the year at their place. And I had a pretty good game that game. So
okay? Well, last question for me, I always got to ask everybody, what's your go-to spot in Conway to grab a bite to eat? I know you said that, so you obviously you were moved in from Memphis, so maybe you didn't get to fully appreciate everything, but when you're in Conway or when you were in Conway, where you got to go?
Hog Pen Barbecue. You got to go
Okay.
to Hog Pen Barbecue. So I'm from Memphis, big barbecue guy. Best place in town, Hog Pen.
I haven't been there. Where's it at?
It's off of Harprider, kind of by I'm not Harding, Hendricks. But it's like right across the street from a church, Zion Temple Church, right there off of Harprider and Sutton Street.
Okay. Hog Pen Barbecue. I'll have to check it out next time I'm in town.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Jeff Anderson, class of 2013, former Wampus Cat running back. We really appreciate your time, man. Stories were awesome. Go Wampus Cats.
Go Wampus Cats.